shot, you saw some rain coming in from the left-hand side of the screen quite clearly. And I bet there's some team radio going on at the moment to let the teams know that it has started to rain in certain parts of the circuit.
There's a little spot of rain, isn't there, on the camera lens there? And, well, the strategists will be working overtime this afternoon, it seems.
Well, we've had a few damp races over the years at the Nurburgring, and amazingly, we haven't had much rain during the course of this weekend so far. A little bit at lunchtime on Friday, which meant that the start of the second practice session was held in damp conditions, and Hamilton went out and put in quite a few laps because he hasn't really had an awful lot of chance to feel a drying track. He wanted to just know a little bit more about how that would be, but the Nurburgring is always an unpredictable place. Up in the Eiffel Mountains, you can see now quite clearly the rain coming down fairly hard, and it's really only a matter of time before everybody dives into the pits. Certainly the start will be one dramatic moment, but the dive for the pits, with 22 cars all looking for the same wet tyres, will also be dramatic as well. There's a man who knew how to master wet conditions. Fingers crossed, says Schumacher.
Exactly, this is the most difficult moment for a Grand Prix driver with the changeable conditions, and of course they'll all start on dry tyres, and they'll be, if it's wet at any part of the circuit, you don't always know exactly which corner it arrives first.
Interestingly, Markus Winkelhock has decided to start this race from the pit lane. That might turn out to be an inspired decision. When the 5 lights going out, we'll be racing Raikkonen on the right, Alonso on the left. The European Grand Prix is go. Great getaway for Raikkonen. Alonso comes across to cover Massa. They're side by side. Kubica's already passed Heidfeld, his teammate, and it looks like Massa's looking strong as well. He's having a go around the outside of Raikkonen into turn 1. Raikkonen goes very deep. That allows Alonso through past Massa. So now Massa comes back at him again. He's in second place. Alonso third, and the two BMWs collide with each other. Hamilton went round the outside there, but Heidfeld spun Kubica, and is Hamilton involved in that as well? Seems to be struggling to get grip in his car. It's probably the wet track, I think, that's probably...
It's wet there. I think Hamilton's got a left rear puncture. I think he did just tag the BMW. He had a brilliant start, absolutely working out beautifully, up to P4 from P10, and he's got a left rear puncture, I believe. He's got to be careful he doesn't get caught up. There's a Red Bull at the top of the screen going off. It's Coulthard. He's coming back on track through the service road. The track then quite clearly very slippery in places. Massa launched off the line and immediately past Alonso. Hamilton struggling then, he'll turn in and the car will feel horrible down there. What a dismal weekend Lewis Hamilton is having. This has really put him on his back foot, and more contact.
It was Rosberg and Barrichello, I believe. They were battling over 11th places. So there's that Jenson Button up there as well. You can see how hard the rain is coming down now. All the field
spinning at the back, two spinning at the back there, up into turn 9, and carnage going on. One of them was the Williams of Rosberg. Will they decide to pit this lap? These grooved tyres do not work well in these conditions at all.
Massa, Alonso, Webber, Button, Kovalainen, Speed, Liuzzi, Ralf Schumacher, Davidson, and surely Lewis Hamilton also pitting as well. Intermediate tyres going onto the Ferrari, and Raikkonen has stayed out. So has Wirtz and Trulli. Alonso is slow away. He's lost the place to Massa. Ted Kravitz.
The place to Massa, but that was in the pits. They came in, McLaren came in, Alonso got out behind Felipe Massa. Lewis Hamilton now also in. Everybody switching on to the intermediates. It's not yet wet enough for the full wet tyres, and Nick Heidfeld comes in very slowly with damage. Barrichello will pass him, but Lewis Hamilton only just got out, and he's behind a load of cars. That has not worked out well for Lewis.
Well, he was a long way down the field. It was a left rear puncture, and that was beautiful for Massa in terms of he was going to have to queue at the Ferrari pit behind his teammate Raikkonen. Raikkonen missed the pit lane, having initially got in there, slipped back out again, and that allowed Massa an unhindered stop. And there is Raikkonen then tippy-toeing around on slicks. What is he doing down at the hairpin? Did he do another lap then? Well, yeah. He must have gone off if that's only as far as he's got in that amount of time.
He must absolutely have done, and as you can see, the Spiker's driving away from him. That Spiker on the wet tyres, and off the track goes Giancarlo Fisichella. So, boy, are we going to get a fight back from him. He's now, look, a lap down on his teammate Massa and on Alonso. Looks like one of the Hondas is very well up there.
Well, Winkelhock does indeed lead as Raikkonen pits. Massa second, Alonso third. Winkelhock's 19 seconds ahead of them. And it is Button up into what is now P4. Jenson Button clearly took his intermediates early on. They're giving it a twist to front wing. You need a different aero balance. You need a little bit more front wing normally with the intermediate tyres to give you some turn in to the corners.
Okay, let's establish the order as we've lost. I think that's Button. Oh no, Jenson Button was running in 4th place. He has gone off on intermediate tyres. So clearly not even enough grip from those. Winkelhock leads, or does he? Spiker flies off the racetrack. Adrian Sutil.
That's a McLaren.
Is that Hamilton? It is Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton on lap 3 has gone off, along with the Honda of Button and also the looks like the Spiker of Sutil. Did he hit Sutil, I wonder?
No, they're aquaplaning now. There's so much water. The intermediates. Here comes another one. And this is going to get nasty. They're going to have to put the safety car out. What they're doing now is just aquaplaning off the racetrack. The intermediates will not clear sufficient amounts of water, and that is a Super Aguri that might just live for another day. And the rest of them are all deep in the gravel trap, and there'll be more in there yet unless they slow down. But it's crawling pace you need. Otherwise, you're in a canoe. You're not in a Formula 1 car.
Well,
Anthony Davison should be able to get reverse and get out of there. Safety car has been deployed. I would not be running out there if I were you, gentlemen. There will be other cars in if you're not careful.
6 cars then stranded down at turn 1. One of them is World Championship leader Lewis Hamilton. The safety car has been deployed by race director Charlie Whiting. Understandably. Oh, that's a big one. That's one of the Toro Rosso spinning round. It's Tonio Liuzzi who makes gentle contact with the tractor, and these are very dangerous moments for the marshals down there.
Crazy to let anything and anybody out there until they've neutralised the race, because everything is going to arrive backwards. You do not want to be going underneath one of those digger trucks. So that is the water then, and still then Winkelhock pits too.
Yeah, Winkelhock comes into the pits for some full wet tyres. Okay, so Winkelhock's dived into the pits. He had a 19-second lead over Massa and Alonso, who were running in 2nd and 3rd places, and we wait to see exactly what the order is. We've lost at least 6 cars down at turn 1. One of them is Jenson Button. There is Lewis Hamilton, who simply doesn't want to leave his car. He can't believe that he's out of this race. Looks like he may have kept the engine in, has he? Surely not. Yes, he has. Look at that.
Well,
That's incredible.
He's allowed to be moved from a dangerous position. He's kept the engine running. We know those McLarens will tick over for apparently ever. And as he's been moved out of a dangerous place, and we saw that happen with Michael Schumacher here, of course, quite controversially actually, and went on to get a result. So I think Hamilton will be fine there.
Yeah, we saw it. He collided with Juan Pablo Montoya a few years ago down at the Dunlop curve, the bottom of the track, and he was able to get a push from the marshals because it was construed as a dangerous place, and rejoin the race. Hamilton will undoubtedly argue the same thing, and he lives to fight another day. Winkelhock, meanwhile, is leading this race, and he's on the full wet tyre. I'm sure a lot of other people will be coming in for that at the moment. Just looking out of our commentary box window, we are above the pit straight, and the track is just absolutely underwater without doubt. It's the whole pit straight. It's just like a river running down it towards turn 1. That's the order at the moment. As you can see, Winkelhock still leading on his Formula 1 debut in a Spiker. That's how crazy the opening of this European Grand Prix has become. And obviously no overtaking allowed under the safety car. So that's the order that it will be until this rain is considered safe enough to start again. Massa, Alonso, Webber, Coulthard, having had a spin on the first lap, is up to 5th from 20th on the grid. Kovalainen is 6th. And Raikkonen, who led from the start line, is down in 7th place, having missed the pits.
Believe it or not, in these conditions, the F1 cars can't keep up with the safety car. When they're floating along the track, they just can't get going. The safety car has to slow down. This is Massa then heading off the road. Does he get away with that? and behind him there, but Button is the first one off then. Button is the first one into the barrier. He'll be followed by another 5 cars as they float, and this is Hamilton with his wheels locked up and just nerves the barrier. He'll get away with that. Luckily the spiker missed him completely, and now are they red flagging it? They've red flagged the race.
Well, we're joined from the spiker pit wall by Mike Gascoigne, the team's technical director. Mike, what an extraordinary start to the race, and Winkelhock, an inspired decision by you, I guess, to bring him in and start from the pit lane. So he's just come into the pits again, Mike, and presumably has gone to the full wet tyre. So the race has been red flagged now. For the benefit of all the viewers at the home in the UK and around the world, Mike, just tell us what's going to happen.
Yeah, so you think will they canvass the drivers, Mike, or the teams? Who makes this decision now as to when the track is safe to resume?
I think, well, obviously Charlie, and that he'll probably ask some opinions, but I think it's going to be fairly straightforward. I mean, it dries exceptionally quickly when it stops raining here, and of course they can restart it under the red flag as well, under the safety car as well.
Thanks for your time, Mike. We'll hear more from you later on in the race. It's we've got a red flag here at the European Grand Prix at the Nurburgring, and there'll be a countdown fairly soon to the restart once the race director is satisfied that the conditions are safe enough. Just looking at the start, that's Hamilton with his left rear puncture. He was as high as 5th in the original start before he got that puncture in contact with the 2 BMWs of Kubica and Heidfeld. David Coulthard you could see spinning, but he has rescued his situation to get himself up to 5th place. An awful lot happened here in the opening lap of this race, but we are under a red flag at the moment here at the Nurburgring.